recent trips that we took. So as you probably tell from the title, I went to Hocking Hills, and then Henry went to North Carolina. So my trip was at the time of this was about a couple weeks ago now. So I had some time to really reflect on it, and I actually just finished the previous night before recording this that I finished editing my photos, all of them, and I actually took about I think 317 shots, which I know it sounds bananas because I was like there for 3 days. Like I told my photographer friends, like other people, and they're like, "You only took how many?" Like they just were like so like shocked, I guess. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I felt like I was being pretty choosy, but not too much, you know. I felt like I was on the run almost, you know, just shooting a little bit of everything in the landscape there at Hocking Hills. But yeah, I only took about 300 exposures, and most of those, a good majority of them are bracketed, so it's even less like unique images and compositions. You know, it's probably almost half that, honestly. Um, so and then in the editing process and calling which photos I think I should choose to focus on and just kind of do some basic adjustments on everything. Yeah, I chose even less, of course, and then whatever I post online. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed my time overall there. It was really cool. Just it's my first time there. Let me just put that out there off the get go. But yeah, it was just really neat to just just do this solo trip on my own, sleeping in my car, doing it all solo. So I just had like all the landscape in front of me to hike and explore, and just take photographs and just kind of just live the life I kind of want to do more of. Just kind of
Hmm.
traveling and being more mobile and just self sufficient, I guess, but also just doing what I love, which is seeing new things and photographing them simply. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I did think the same thing though when you said 300 shots. I mean, that's probably the sign of a good photographer there. Um,
Well, I mean, it's
I
more like
mean,
I just
yeah, you're kind of narrowing down and being more choosy with your shots, and it's
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I wouldn't say that necessarily, but it's more like I just hate the idea of editing in general. And like I
mm-hmm.
already had like sitting at home on my hard drives like lots of just other shots from the month or two prior to the edit. But now I'm fully caught up with everything, which is just a weight off my shoulders. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to be a lot more selective, I think. And then at no surprise to me and probably anyone else, my focus for this trip was really like the wide angle, the what I like to call postcard shots. So I basically nailed down all the main caves and caverns there, cliff overhangs, all the waterfalls, of course, that are very popular with tourists and people that visit that area. So I basically, it's funny because I now I'm looking back on my shots. It's literally all with my 16 to 35 f4. Like I did not, I don't think I ever switched the lens out just because it was such it was such a breath of fresh air because I usually try to, I find myself gravitating towards more just in general with photography, doing more intimate landscapes and stuff that's trying to not be so big and expansive in your face because I am in Ohio, of course, so you can do those shots, of course, but like I don't know, I find them more appreciative of like the smaller things that people may overlook. And I've heard that from feedback from people viewing my work, printed and hung on the wall, of course, too. But I just found myself, um, as I was journaling, because I did a lot of journaling, the nights I guess right before I went to bed or whatever each night, and I found myself kind of having this like shift, temporary shift, I'll say, of just like focusing on the big grand vistas and doing these big shots, wide angles, capturing all this greenery and rock and these gorges and slump blocks and these big, just bombastic waterfalls, which were actually they're all pretty much flowing really well, given that it was like late. I don't even think it was really it wasn't summer, late September. So I mean, it was like pretty much fall at that point, or at least transitioning, we'll say. But yeah, I mean, just looking at the shots now, it's like the majority of them were definitely that bigger, kind of grander style, which I feel like for the location itself, because it has such a reputation, like that's the definitely what I was kind of going for with this first visit was getting those big shots, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
nailing them down, and then maybe in like future visits, which will definitely be back, I'd imagine, in doing something that's a little more, maybe abstracty or something that's just something that people may overlook.